Ayomide here, and you already know what time it is. We're back for another episode of the World Without People podcast. More voices, more real stories, and even deeper conversations that challenge the way we see the world. This season, we're peeling back even more layers, exploring life, love, purpose, and the beautiful complexities of the human experience. New guests, fresh perspectives, and of course, the same unfiltered, soul stirring energy you love. So, whether you've been rocking with us since day one or you're just joining the adventure, welcome. Grab your favorite drink, settle in, and let's keep the conversation going one unforgettable story at a time.
Welcome everyone to another episode of The World Without People. My name is Ayomide, and I'm so excited to be here with Miss Olamide Agunloye. And I'm particularly not excited today because somebody said I was a lot quiet for my first episode. My first episode I did alone. So I'm very excited because you're my first guest for season 3.
Oh, yeah.
And yes, and I have to tell you all the background stories. So I know Olamide's younger brother.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Background story.
Exactly. We went to school together. Shout out Olamide. And it's funny, I met everybody but you because you weren't at Olamide's graduation in undergrad.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
And I'm the quiet one, believe it or not.
And you can tell with the voice, right? So that was that. And then I'm looking for who's going to do my dress because I initially went to stores in America and one store, and I'm like, hell no.
You went to one store?
One store. I was like, no, I'm going to have this made. I can't think about this. And I promised myself I wasn't going to do it with people. I went to learn actually. So it was just like, if people were down here telling me, oh, this one, that one. Exactly. So I said, okay. And then I called my friend Kike, who also went to Vail College with us. Shout out Vail College. And she's like, oh.
I also met through Olumide.
Oh, yes, exactly. And then she's like, oh, you know who can do it for you? And then she mentions you. I'm like, that's true. I mean, I know of you, but I never met you. And so, anyways, all of this story to say, she made all 3 of my dresses. So not just my wedding dress, because again, I don't like confusion. I'm a very simple person at the end of the day. I didn't want 3 different people talking to me about 3 different dresses, which is what we did. And she did my engagement dress, and she did my after party dress. Thank you again. It was, no, I mean, I think everybody that has said it and keeps saying your dresses were unique, your dresses were different, and all of that. So, I mean, we have to talk about that first because not only is she a designer, she's also, well, a fashion designer, and the first ready-to-wear designer in Nigeria. Period. Thank you. Period. That was what I was looking for, which is actually really amazing because, in case you can't tell, she's very young. Can you see? It's like very young. Yeah. Okay. And so that's really, really impressive. But 2, she's also an interior designer. So just with the background in engineering, right?
No, so my background is actually in fashion. So the engineering and design and construction thing is post.
Oh.
It's work experience, really.
Interesting. So not even like you went to school for it?
Not even for now.
Wow. Okay, because I said that because you have to see her buildings, right? Where I went to, I haven't even been to the fellowship building yet.
So that one is definitely.
Yes, I definitely have to do that. But I'm saying like it's unique. The style, the furnishings, the design, all of it is absolutely unique. I really thought you had a degree in. Really? Okay, we're going to talk about that. But let's start back in the fashion. So I know you went to, I don't remember.
So I graduated from Ohio State University,
Yes.
Product Development in Textile and Clothing Sciences, which is jargons for fashion design. But it's more intricate to the ready-to-wear industry, which is where I ended up. I wanted to design wedding dresses, which is what I started with, but just, I feel like the industry was very young at that point.
Right.
Not a lot of people were doing, what we had the passion to do. So it was easy to say, okay, we want to be the ones to develop the ready-to-wear industry.
Right.
And a lot of people have come after us.
Yes. Actually, and that's really a very interesting thing because I know that, like, I feel like, you know how you know some brands, like, what's one of those ones that I hear a lot, like Textile and Co.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like a lot of people know some of these brands, right? And yes, it's like, when I was telling people, oh, it's Iconola, and they're like, oh, I heard of her before, but like, where is she? Like, a lot of people don't know that you still do it. And you don't really have a social media presence, by the way. Iconola doesn't have a social media presence.
So let me tell you, that is somewhat of like a byproduct. So sometime in 2021, 2022, like our page got deleted at like the 6,000 followers. And that just put me off. Because I just thought you put in all the work, you know, you build your clientele, you do all these things, and then somebody somewhere is pushing a button, and then it's all gone. So it just made me feel like concentrate on the craft. So I feel like the clients are the ones that actually stick me out. And then when I thought that I should concentrate on construction work, it's these same clients that are like, no, you have to do fashion, you have to do fashion.
Yeah, but that's good. Okay, so take me back to the beginning though, because like you said, you see that the market is, you know, quote unquote empty.
Yeah, so I mean, all the way back to between 2003 and 2006, for those that were born, it was completely different. So I think the idea of ready-to-wear in Nigeria was also a bit new in terms of, like, nobody was doing it, right? So actually, Tifnama had a store, Remy Lagos had a store. So I remember visiting those stores and thinking, okay, this is not really ready to wear because it was almost like a customization thing. So you kind of like go in, pick something, and then they customize it to your size and stuff like that. But I wanted more like H&M or Zara stuff. So that was what I was really looking at. So I was able to, you know, kind of like start. And the pushback was, I don't want what Kika is wearing, I don't want what Wumi is wearing, I don't want what Debola is wearing. And the weirdest thing was, like, if I had then made something for Debola, right? Kika would come into the store and say, oh, that dress you made for Debola, can you make for me in this fabric? So I kind of knew that, you know, at the heart of everything, they wanted each other's clothes. So if you make it available, people would buy. So that's how I just closed my eyes and, you know, for years, the word in my head was focus. So even though I was doing tailoring services as well, like that thing was just like focus on ready to wear. Then I moved to Abuja, and the weirdest thing is both Abuja and Lagos received it really well. So when we started expanding, we expanded back into Lagos, and then we did a few franchises as well. So yeah, it's been good.
That's amazing. So it's funny though, because I feel like I'm not seeing, to your point about ready to wear versus the customization, I'm not seeing you on the runway, like at least not in a long time, right? And when I mean you, I mean Iconola. Yes.
So I actually stopped doing those things because I also felt like I'm one of those people who think that I don't like pretensive things. I felt like you're a little bit pretensive. Like you put in all this money, you do a collection, and all you get at the end of the day is people just clap for you and they go home. And the heart of the runway everywhere else, and I suppose abroad, is that's where you get your orders from. That's where you get people saying, no, I want 5,000 pieces of this. I want 100 pieces of that. You know, all the stores, all the magazine editors are there. And there was nothing here for that. It was just some bougie people who could, in some way, even be looking down at the stuff, like feeling like, oh, I'm too big for this stuff. But so you're really there for entertainment. So at that point in time, I think it was sometime maybe 2007-ish or 8 or maybe even 9, that I just thought, I'm not doing this. It's a lot of effort, a lot of time. And then applause.
No,
applause.
I never actually thought about it like that because I don't know too much about the fashion industry other than there's this one show I used to like and I can't remember what it is now. But that's exactly what happened. Like you went to the fashion show because you wanted Macy's or whoever to carry you.
That's what it is.
And even now that I'm a lot more familiar with at least what is happening like with Lagos Fashion Week, that one my aunt does. I don't actually know that that's what ends up as a result.
So I feel like in the heart of things, especially in Africa, it's primarily for entertainment. The byproduct is, okay, maybe somebody's going to see you out there or something, but that's not the focus. The focus everywhere else is trying to put a designer out there. In fact, sometimes to qualify for runway, you go through school. So like your school will nominate you. So you see London School of Fashion doing that. You see Parsons doing that. You see the schools in New York doing that. But there's no fashion school here, which is why a lot of the interviews I've done, my controversial answer is that we don't have a fashion industry. We have fashion enthusiasts, we have all that, but we don't really have a fashion industry, which is honestly what I developed BLK, which everyone wants to talk about.
But so the interesting thing about this is I feel like even the designers now, would not want their stuff carried somewhere. I mean, maybe we're seeing a little bit of that. I think we're starting to see a little bit of that. I've heard of a few people that are now like in self-fridges or things like that. But in general, I feel like a lot of people, and I'm trying to not mention names, but they still want their own store. They still want their own.
It's once again, it's on some level. I'm trying not to sound too controversial. On some level, it's that pretentiousness that we all kind of have in Africa. I don't want to just say Nigeria. This whole I want a name for myself. But unfortunately, I always say that you have money in their accounts.
No, that's a good question.
So like, yeah, you make a name for yourself, but like, are you making money? You know, you spend all this money to kind of like do up a store and all that just because you want to stand alone. And collaboration is the key to success in any industry, to be honest. Especially fashion. Especially fashion. I don't think that it's something that you can do in isolation. These known brands, the department stores, they have like a steady clientele. They have people who patronize them. You have magazine editors that frequent these things. So it's important to be part of a community. And I've often heard that there is a fashion community in Nigeria. I don't really know a lot of designers that are part of it. I'm not part of it, for instance. I've never been invited to anything that they're doing. There's nobody seeking it out. There's nobody saying, oh, you've registered, come and join this association and stuff like that. And sometimes, even when there is like women associations or like things that women do together, it's still some level of, what's the word I want to use? It's not exclusivity. Sometimes gatekeeping.
Yeah, I know. That makes sense. But then my retort, for lack of a better term, will be, why don't you build it? Like, same way you can.
So, yes. So, for me, like, unconsciously we criticize things. Sometimes just in our heads. Sometimes in conversations with other people. But there's that nagging answer is like, okay, instead of saying there is none, do something about it. And I remember, saying to someone, I think it was 2019, like, oh, there's no fashion industry, and then I think my answer was like, I wish we had department stores. And at that point in time, I had a building that had stores for rent. So it was like, oh, but you have something here. But I'm like, it's not enough.
Right.
You can't compare that to Macy's.
Right. I mean, but you can start,
So the idea is now, okay, if you're going to start and if you're going to do, what are you going to do?
Right.
Luckily for me, and unfortunately for a lot of people, there was the NSAS. So that there was a lot of looting and a lot of those kind of things. So when that happened, we just kind of like said, okay, if you lost your shop or you needed space, you can come and stuff with us, blah, blah, blah. And I did that. I didn't enjoy it, to be honest, because I felt like some people took advantage of it. And when I say advantage, it's like, a lot of people don't keep their books well, they don't do their display well, they expect you to do all the work for them, and then they come to your space and they want to shoot content, and, it was just a lot.
So this content thing is an issue everywhere.
Yes. So, and then I also realized that what I was criticizing, I was guilty of, like gatekeeping my model, gatekeeping the area of my shop that I use for pictures, because it's also kind of like a signature.
Right.
Like, so if you have something that you identify with Iconola, you don't want to see it on another brand.
Right.
Do you get? And from an honest point of view, maybe my ego, it used to rub me off that way, where I just thought, okay, no. So I was carefully disbanding it and telling people, actually, I wasn't selling for them.
Yeah.
Because I also didn't think that it was right to charge. And then if you're not selling. So as we were disbanding, I think it was, I traveled, and then I just thought one day, I was in Shells or somewhere, and like I had a light bulb moment, and I just thought, it doesn't have to be department store, like the way it is. It can be everything mixed in together, right? And then I just kind of was thinking, okay, all these things that you said they want you to do for them, why can't you take pictures for them? I love taking pictures. Why can't you conceptualize images for them? Why can't you consult with them? Why can't you do all those things? If they want to use spaces in your building why don't you create different spaces where different people can take pictures? And that's what we did.
That's amazing, honestly. But I still want to go back to some of these things you're saying around fashion, because the big thing I always hear about fashion is about two things. One is the what's the word? Think of Shein and those kind of things. They call it something, and I forget. Fast fashion. Thank you so much. So it's that concept of fast fashion. So if you, like you said, if you now create it in a way like that is like a Marshalls, right? Isn't that giving the concept of fast fashion? It might or might not be.
But what is wrong with fast fashion?
I hear, apart from, I hear that one, it's a lot of like, so again, think Marshalls. Well, first of all, I mean, Marshalls so let's say Macy's, right? Let's start with Macy's.
So yes.
So Macy's dump all of their things in Marshalls, but then when Marshalls can't send all of it, they now dump all of it in Kenya or whatever country.
Exactly.
Right.
So it's, it's at the end of the day, it's a commodity.
Right.
Fortunately for that kind of commodity, it's not perishable.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like food.
Yeah.
Like, if you cook jollof rice for 1,000 people, it's going to spoil.
Yeah.
Only 100 people buy it. So at the end of the day, you can pass it along. So one of the things that we did when we had franchises open is if it wasn't selling in Lagos, send to Abuja. It's not selling in Abuja, but send to Enugu.
Okay.
Sometimes it will come back to Lagos before it sells. So you would have done the whole round trip before it sells. It's not spoiling.
Fair enough.
Do you get it? I think what people really don't like about fast fashion is the idea that they copy styles and they have the ability to actually really, really mass produce, which means that they water down the creativity of the designer. And we've not gotten there in Africa. Nobody's mass producing.
But all those people that are always shouting copyright, they've copyrighted, they should
So
have legal
technically, there is no copyright law against copying somebody else's design. It doesn't exist. There's no such thing as this is my design. I made this skirt so you can make it. What we can copyright in fashion is textile design. So you take the Burberry check for instance. Anybody else do it, you're going to go to literally go to jail.
Right.
So you see, did you hear of? I don't know. Was it Walmart? Was it Walmart that copied the?
No, I don't know. But the MS slippers is everything.
No. So the actual Birkin.
Yeah.
There's, I think it's called the Working. I think it's Walmart. It's copied it and sold out in a day and it's at $89 or $79.
Wow.
You can copyright the shape of the bag.
Yeah.
But you can't put a mess on it.
Exactly.
Once you start putting the print on it or something, kind of like the way, the same with the LV. So that's what you copyright, not the design. Because technically, like, who made the skirts?
Right.
So that's where the law comes from. It's like, you can't say that you're the one that created the skirts. It's how do you modify it for yourself. And I think that each designer has a duty to reach down into some level of their creativity to kind of like, dig deep and say, okay, I've seen this to your nice waistcoat. What am I going to do to make it different?
Exactly.
So that it doesn't seem like I just copied it right back off the bat. Rather than be lazy.
And I think that's to your point about no fashion school. Because a lot of... No, but that's the thing. A lot of people are just ideally tailors. And so creativity is not necessarily...
So even tailors, the word is used a bit, they're joiners.
Yeah. and that's what I was going to say, because what is the difference between, no offense?
A tailor is supposed to be a really skilled person. A joiner just joins stuff. So there's not a lot of creativity around saying things. I mean, the internet makes it really easy.
Right.
I can be on Pinterest for 5 days. In fact, 5 minutes. And I build a collection. Do you get? So it's become the lazy way out.
Right.
Nobody's really digging into it. And I think with the whole, maybe the dollar surge in terms of like what you exchange, anybody can sell anything now and somebody's willing to buy it because the alternative of buying it in America is a lot more exactly.
That's fair. But yeah, so then why do tailors then have an issue fixing somebody else's thing?
What do you mean design?
Well, no, because some of them are not exactly
they
designers. No, but some of them are not exactly designers.
So I feel like sometimes they can't.
No. So for example, I'm the kind of person, like you see how I've had this skirt for years, like maybe like 10 years, I'm not even joking. Now, if, let's assume it was my mom's skirt, right? If I didn't like it this way, what I often would do is I would just shorten it or
change something about it.
Well, people have a problem with that, and tailors in Nigeria seem to have a problem with that. Why? No, let's not name names.
So I can't really see why people would not want to do that. One of the things that I do good is amendments because I understand garment making. Right? So I don't know why somebody would want to amend stuff. From construction part of things, I know why we don't like to fix other people's buildings.
Right.
Because if something goes wrong, like say plumbing, for instance, you're going to start holding me accountable.
Okay.
However, I also know that I would rather rebuild your toilets than fix your toilets. Like, rebuild the whole bathroom, right? So, most people on that front would want you to come and say, oh, it's not doable, let me make you a brand new one so they get more money.
Yeah. Okay. I guess that's fair enough. But they should just say that because I feel like that's different. But
business people are also nice.
but here's the issue, though.
Nigeria.
I know. But I think my issue is that we talk about we don't want fast fashion, and then we talk about bringing creativity. But like my mom has a plethora of dresses that she's never going to wear again, right? Especially native wear stuff that in my mind I'm like, who can I go and give and dump all of these things with and just be like, make me a new wardrobe from these things. And people, the complication of that, but the fact that people are not even thinking that way, because why do we always, I guess the other way to ask it is sustainability, right? We're always talking about new. I have a bunch of people who got into this thing of, you know what, I'm not buying anything new. Everything I have in my, what's it called, I can wear. But I'm not necessarily, because now, I get it that everybody can wear this skirt 10 different ways. But all that, wear 10 different ways, put a different top, put a different skirt, wear it with, I don't have time. I'm just...
I get what you're saying. So I'm in a different mode this year.
Okay.
Like maybe a couple of years ago, I wear a lot of bodysuits. I'm wearing one now.
Yeah.
But I just thought, okay, no, I want to start wearing tailored tops.
Yeah.
Right? And I went to my wardrobe yesterday, and I was just thinking about it, like, I actually don't have a nice one. I don't have, maybe I don't have any.
Yeah.
But I have some dresses that I'm tired of wearing. That all I need to do is to just shave off. So guess what I did yesterday? I was afraid to just cut a dress because I didn't have a machine at home or anything. So I actually wore like tucked in.
Yeah.
And it looked really nice. And then I identified at least 4 items in my wardrobe that I'm going to turn to tops. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong in it. It's like you said, it's some type of recycling fashion.
Exactly.
And some people have built businesses from recycled fashion.
Right.
They buy suits, they change something about it, and then they resell it, or jeans and stuff like that. So I just feel like Nigerians say they don't like something when they don't understand it. Or when it's too new, or when nobody else is doing it. So give it a few months.
I feel like I'm going to need to go and become a tailor myself. Because at this rate, that, like, the amount of things I want to recycle, like, all my wardrobe that I can just recycle and feel like, you know what, I want this in America, let me make it in Nigeria and make it look...
It's fun if you can do that. And I think on some level, it's, an hour a day on your machine, you definitely will be able to tweak some line. But it's not the funnest part of the business.
Yes.
It's not part of the business.
It's
It's not the production alone. Producing, yes, but you want to see your end user wear it and feel really nice in it and all that. So, it would then translate to money. But the fun part is not just sitting on the machine.
Fair enough. Okay. But then, so let's now talk about, how, obviously, our Owambe, traditional way. Because you do it for more ready to wear. So your stuff is there regardless. But a lot of us are making it for just the one occasion.
So sometimes I feel like it's a bit up and down. I like wearable clothes, I think, for me. And I used to say that I'm a cheapskate. But I think I like the principle, a principle of ready to wear, right, is the cost versus how many times you wear it. Right. So something is valuable sometimes when you don't wear it a lot versus how much it's expensive. However, one of the most valuable things in most people's wardrobes are like bags and shoes, right? And they become really cheap when you think about how much you actually wear it. So that's why a designer bag technically for some people is not expensive. Because if you carry it every day for 365 days and you bought it for $365, the dollar is where.
But nobody's doing that.
So But technically, that's how you should
Should
about
think
it.
about it. Okay.
So for me, I don't like clothes that I spend a lot of money on and I wear only once or twice.
Yeah.
To me, that's me wasting money
Yeah.
because I'm not really getting the everyday wear from it versus what I paid for it. I'm not really sure where the mindset of a lot of Nigerians are in terms of that, but we're such a facade people.
Yeah.
It's all about what somebody else is thinking.
Yeah.
Before you think about your comfort, you're thinking about what somebody else's eyes saw
Yeah.
when they look at you.
That's fair.
Yeah.
By the way, I already gave her my wedding dress to be fixed because nobody got time for that. To be fair, we did it very affordable, I like to think, because I told somebody how much I paid for all 3 dresses and they were like, what? That was what they paid for their one dress, 2008. For one dress, where is that dress? As soon as we finished, because my after party I can wear again, my engagement I can wear again, and we did not do any corsets because we're like, what is this? You saw my tummy as it was. It's now almost weight after the wedding. Can you imagine? This is not good. When I was supposed to be looking very, very slimming for the wedding, it wasn't the same. I lost like good 6 pounds. And
I have pictures. I have proof.
well, I mean, we made the dress in such a way where we knew that it could be usable again, and I just feel like you're right. Nigerians need to change that. I'm not saying we shouldn't help our friends to actually be my friends. They are beautiful on the day and peace, but anything that will make it such that you're a bad friend. No, but I have most of my native is actually
So where do you wear it to after that?
church. Church is a very big one.
Okay, but I feel like you're quite simple. All these corsetty things everywhere. Where do you wear
I'm
it?
not very corset. I'm not both corset. I won't do it for me. Before husband, I didn't have any good about it.
These pieces are so statement that you can't even wear for a second event.
Yeah.
So I just feel like sometimes it's overdone. I'm not saying that the glam is not it's not working or worth it, but sometimes it's too much.
Okay, now let's go to the process of dressmaking though for non-ready to wear. So like with us, right? I had some ideas. My friend Kike had some ideas, but at the end of the day, I'm like, sis, whatever you want to do. But then I now took my mom, which I said I wasn't going to bring anybody, but I happened to take my mom that day, and so my mom was like, okay, do this, and then I'm very glad I did because she was so happy. Like she was like, she was so like, she was ready to be like, okay, I know it's going to look great, and she didn't ask me once about the dress. But I also feel like again, I'm an unusual person. How is it, especially with wedding dress? I feel like 1 week before the wedding, we still hadn't done the dress. Some things had happened.
Oh yes, I think the dress was final, like maybe 4 days.
Yeah, 3 days.
Maybe 3-4 days before.
Yeah.
But I still think like one of the lucky ones. Like my sister's wedding dress, I finished in that morning.
She said I'm one of the lucky ones.
Okay.
You want people to come and buy your stuff. That you won't.
No, so sometimes it's just making sure that like it's perfect.
Right.
Because we were still saying, okay, maybe this, especially like doing the pickup part of it. Yeah. So I travel.
Yeah.
So I think your delivery was just okay. I go back, and then I think you remember the fitting.
Yes.
That first day,
Yes.
we were all crying.
Yes.
So I think that caused a delay.
Yeah.
That won't be the usual me, at least not now.
Exactly.
But in terms of like people nitpicking at an idea that they have or like being really stern, I give it to you. That's why it's not ready to wear. That's why it's called a made-to-measure service. When you're doing something for a client, you're doing it for the client. You're not doing it for yourself. So for me, it's, I can speak Yoruba.
Yes.
Ìgbà tí tí máa gbà nídìí iṣẹ́, mo máa gbà.
Okay. In translation is the slap that she gets in the process of work. She'll take it.
I'll take it because it's not my dress.
Yeah.
Do you get
Yeah.
it? If I'm making something for myself, I already know what I want.
Yeah.
I'll be very picky about it. So I can understand when somebody wants something and they are picky about it as well. And because I'm not the one wearing it. So I always like to make sure that my client is happy with what they're getting. And I think that we got to a point where I was running every little thing by him because I was like, I'm going to place this here. Are you okay with it? I'm going to place this here.
And I'm
And
over there like,
sometimes she's like,
what am I talking
boy.
What am
I'm
I
like,
talking
no,
about?
no, no, just tell me. Should I do like this or like this? Because I always feel like it's not my dress.
Yeah.
It was my dress. I already know what I need to do, right? But it's somebody else's item. And I do that with almost everything I'm doing. So if I'm cooking for it, I know it's salt. I'm going to put salt in food. Because it's not mine. So I feel like just that being considerate and having consideration for others, I always try and make sure, if you pay for something and you're paying to be pleased, you must be pleased,
Oh, that's good. I mean, at least you don't sound like you are, like you get exasperated when a client is like, oh, but change this, but change this.
I should do my part.
That's fair enough. Fair enough. Sorry, and in case you didn't hear that part, she was saying that she suffered enough that it cannot be your dress.
It can't be your dress that will suffer. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. I have life issues.
Which we will discuss today in positive vibes. Thank God for grace. But actually, it brings me to a non-fashion question. Actually, I'm finding that a lot of my beautiful sisters are either divorced or haven't married, and I don't know. I feel some kind of way about it, right? Because I do feel like it's not that marriage is the end of me, or everybody knows me. If I married, it was. If I didn't marry, but I wanted it, but I also knew that I was never going to settle, and I feel like I really was, God was intentional and gave me my person. But it's not necessarily the end of me all. But I think I hate the fact that I'm seeing really young, beautiful, like you have. So by the way, she has 3 kids. The oldest of which is what, 19?
20. You'll be 21 in September.
21. So, first of all, blackface don't decline. All day, every day. Thank you, Jesus. But, so maybe there's something to be said.
Hey everyone, if you're enjoying the podcast, please don't forget to hit the subscribe, like, or share button. Whether you're on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, or YouTube, your support helps us to reach more people. Stay tuned for more amazing conversations, and thank you for being a part of our community.
While you feel bad, I feel like it's not necessarily a bad thing, except you put a lot of stigma around it. I'm happy to see a lot of, hardworking, strong women choose to leave a bad situation that is not bringing out the best in them over being unhappy or being ridiculed all the time and stuff like that. So to me, I look at it in terms of like you did well for yourself. And if you can live within the territory of God and not, decline yourself, take care of yourself. I really want to speak here. All those things. If you can be, let me say, if you can continue to uphold yourself as a godly person, kudos to you, right? And for me also, I've known a lot of people that are actually remarried, and I've also seen maybe 50% of those that are remarried go back into the same situation. So I also feel like you have to find healing and all that. But I do believe that, being able to come out of a situation and choose better is what everybody is. And there's some of us that maybe, just okay.
but that's why I said in your case, because you at least have, quote unquote, you have kids out of it. Not to say that that was the goal or whatever.
But I have friends who had kids and decided immediately I want to be married.
No. So I'm talking about the people who are not married though. Like
Okay.
they've never.
Some people are not married. So I feel a certain way about a guy who's not married and is like my age than I do about a woman.
Yeah.
I feel like the guy definitely has issues. Not to say that the woman doesn't have issues, but I feel like what is possible is that a woman who is in her late 30s or her 40s, early 40s, mid 40s, who is not married, can definitely look back and think like, I feel sorry. Like I fucked up. You can say at some point like, oh, I should have done something different. Maybe I am that guy. I should be more patient with him. They will always have one or two of those kind of things to say. But I feel like some people just maybe didn't prioritize it as well. But I want want to say that, like, is that time?
Yeah.
You know, the people who have a lot of younger friends, I always tell them, like, look, you can have sex with a guy today. You met him today, have sex with him today, marry him, and live happily ever after.
Yeah.
And you can do the same thing, and the guy would really mess you up.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's not really what you do
Yeah.
or how you prepare, but it's just the way life turns out to be.
Fair enough.
So some people date for 9 years, and the guy will still leave you.
Yeah. And that's just
Some people do not date, and one day they decide that, and immediately they meet one and they marry next week, and you're worried what happened, you know. And I even know people who waited, and maybe in their mid-30s they found someone, and they still dated the person for 2 or 3 years, and then the parents would then come back and say, you can marry that person.
Yeah.
Have you not been
Yeah, for the past
So there's a lot going on in terms of like this whole marriage and expectations.
Yeah.
But I also feel like I always say that life is supposed to give you salvation. I feel like everything you go through is supposed to bring forth salvation. And some people are just looking towards the wrong things. And some people who feel like they have it all still don't have that salvation. And I don't want it to sound too religious. I want it like in the spiritual way, like, are you happy? Are you safe within yourself?
Yeah.
You know. So even if you're married, doesn't mean that you're happy.
Exactly.
And if you're single, doesn't mean you're happy.
Exactly.
So I feel like wherever you find yourself, as long as you're fulfilled and you're happy, and you actually savor the day and live for the day. You know, we had a conversation a few years ago, and she was, I think, 39 at the time, and she was saying how she really wants to get married. You know, that she was depressed for like 2 years. And I was like, Madam, me, I'm divorced. Yeah, single. I know I have kids, and I really don't have kids. But I was like, you know what? We're actually not promised your husband.
Exactly.
Like, you didn't come to earth that is written down. So just in case, I know you're hopeful, just in case you don't get married.
Yeah.
Because you can find someone at 47, and that would be your story.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's story is different. There's this white woman I saw on my Instagram feed yesterday. She's dancing. She looked really, really good. Her first child at 47.
It's amazing.
First.
Yeah.
Like, no, she was trying.
Yeah.
And that's her story. So everybody's story can be the same.
Yeah, no, I like that. I used to tell people back then that what happens, because I'd had a friend who got married at a young age, and the guy died, I think, a year, 2 years into. It's like, you can't wait for this thing. And then, I mean, I've seen so many stories, I've heard so many stories of, people that I know through a friend, like, it was on the day of the wedding, the guy died, or on the way towards the wedding from Lagos to the east, the guy died, that kind of thing. Like, so nothing is promised.
I've done a show before a girl, and I remember she was really raving about the wedding, blah, 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 blah. And I think she was supposed to go for the wedding in 2 weeks. This is her best friend getting married or something. So she did her fitting, and she's supposed to come and pick up the next day, and she just didn't show up. So the day of the wedding comes, and I'm thinking, well, my nipple is got tomorrow. Like, where is this girl? And where is this girl? So months later, she comes in and she tells me that her best friend died. Like literally the week before the wedding or something like that. That she was actually meaning to come and pick up the dress, but she got the call. And she went to buy something for the wedding, was crossing the road, and a bus cleared her.
I mean, like you said, nothing is promised.
Everybody's story. Yeah. Everybody's story is different. I feel like it's sometimes one of the most unfair things that we do to each other is that we expect all our stories to be the same.
I like that. I never thought about it that way. And I don't even think, like, so let me take it back. When I say that, I think it's from a place of people that I know who maybe want it and haven't had it. Or because, like you said, right, and this is my own personal story of seeing, someone I love having, 4 children, and then get divorced by 36 or whatever. And it's hard for me because I'm thinking to myself, like, you are an amazing person, like, what? So, to your point, I am probably projecting what I want.
I feel like it's not necessarily what we want for them.
Yeah.
It's society has painted a story for us, and we feel like we just have to key into that story. And it's not usually that way.
Yeah.
You know, you have people, I mean, tragic things happen to people.
Yeah.
You know, and divorce is one of the least tragic things, by the way. But like really bad things happen to people.
Yeah.
You know, people lose their spouses, people lose kids, people lose their parents, people will lose their jobs, some people become crippled.
Yeah.
You know, there was a girl that was telling me that, her neighbor's husband, a young girl, had a stroke in his 40s. Like, what do you do with that?
Yeah.
Do you get it? Like, it can't all be like the same. And we do have, I think it's more you having compassion, because nobody wants to see somebody go through something that is not what it should be.
Right.
Like you see someone, like you said, and you're wondering. I have a lot of young friends. I've known them since they were like teenagers.
Yeah.
So maybe people that have worked with me, interned with me.
Yeah.
Now they're in their 30s.
Yeah.
They're still not married. I'm thinking, I know you.
Yeah.
Nothing do you.
Exactly. Yeah. Such a wonderful person.
I know. That's honorable. Now you try to date, and I'm happy you didn't marry me.
Exactly.
So like, why didn't Mr. Right come?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like sometimes it's just you working on yourself and you just being happy. And a lot of the things that we want, I feel like, to be honest, they come when we least expect them.
Definitely agree. Okay, back to now we're going back to BLK. So tell me how BLK started and all of that. Because I really do think it's a fascinating story. And is it just the one you have, or you have more? I know you mentioned Abuja now and Enugu.
Okay, so when I mentioned that, that's more my Iconola story. So Iconola is, we did a lot of very affordable ready to wear. And I don't know that it was meant to be affordable. So let me tell you, it was basically everything is $100 or less.
Okay.
When dollar was 1.5. Right? So the most expensive thing was, when dollar was 159.
Yeah, I figured that's what you meant. Like $1 to 150.
Yeah,
So
the most expensive thing in the store was $15K, which is $100.
Yeah.
Now, dollar was doing like this. And then one day it became 300 naira overnight. And then it became 360. And we kind of looked at it and I was like, look, we can't just double the price.
Yeah.
Because it won't be fair on our customers. So what we did was we added like just a little bit of a difference. So at that point in time, maybe we were adding like maybe, the cost of something on top of it. So something that was 15K was now maybe 18,500 or 20,000 and stuff like that. And then you go to bed one day.
1,006.
No, it was first 700 naira. And at 700 naira, you kind of convince yourself that no, it's not possible. It's coming back. And there was rumors about how it would go to 800 and it would go to 1,000 and you're like, it's not possible, it's not possible. And by the way, at that point in time, Ankara prices have not gone up.
Right.
So it doesn't really make sense for you to increase your prices.
Yeah.
And then one day you wake up and you wonder.
But can I ask a question? And I'm sorry if this sounds like a very dumb question. But what does that actually literally mean for you when you say now dollar is 1,000? How does it affect your market price?
So let me tell you, unfortunately, I used to think like you before because I was like, who call me?
AK is not my business.
It's not my business. Or more even AK, it's not affecting me,
Right.
all my business.
Right.
But when we were selling Ankara dresses between 8,000 and 15,000, Ankara was 1,500. As I'm speaking to Ankara, it's 8,000. That's times 9. So technically, if I base on any type of math, 15,000 should be times 9.
Yeah.
Who's going to buy my products? And who's going to buy as consistently as I want them to buy?
Right.
Because it's now no longer affordable.
Right.
And nobody's salary has times 9.
Except your person. Sorry.
No, those ones are like 10 million.
What?
No, it's not.
Exactly.
So at the end of the day, you kind of look at it as it's like the crime and punishments are not the same.
Yeah.
So the business is suffering. It shouldn't suffer because of dollar, but it is. Right. So where we shouldn't times 9. Though some businesses are doing that and maybe worse, you can at least times 3 to just be able to afford certain things.
Right.
Chicken in December was 30K.
Yeah.
In August it was 9,000.
Yeah.
That is times 3 point something.
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense. And I remember when I was speaking to the factory and, we're going with the price points and everything. I don't know where in the meeting I just said, please, we're not about to sell something. I know it's too much. Because remember, I just thought, the least we had, I thought I was following.
Yes, exactly. You were late. Jollof rice and chicken. I will leave that to be on the table for Christmas.
Truth be told, who is that person that's going to buy a 100K item and buy every week?
Yeah.
Your salary has not doubled.
Yeah.
One of my friends said over the weekend now, but she feels it's us middle class people that are suffering. I said, no. Transport is to go and come back from Yaba for any of my errand people. It's 5K. Yeah. Before, if I'm taking an Uber from my house to my shop within Lekki, it's 500 naira. Today is 350 times 7. So if you look at it that way, what is 700%? 700% is a lot of growth. And it doesn't translate.
Yeah.
And it's not like the business is suffering if you don't times 7.
Yeah.
But it can't stay where it was.
Right.
Yeah. So there's a lot of price shifting. We came up with BLK. I feel like from me...
Sorry, one question. You say we. Who's we? Because as far as I know...
Me, myself,
And Tractor. That's fair, because you say, and I get it, right? I do the same thing with my podcast, because I do at least have people that are behind the scenes.
So
and stuff
yes,
like that. So it's
but
me.
I heard something. One of the first meetings I had, which was a memorable meeting, which was with someone I was looking for money, and I was talking to her, and I was saying, oh, we. And she said, the only reason why she's entertaining me now is because I'm referring to me and my business as we. So I don't even think that I'm referring to anybody in my business. We is me, my business, my thoughts, my fears.
That's fair.
But one of the things she said was that that's what highly successful people do. I didn't know that it was a thing, but I just always knew that it was.
That's right. That's right. And to your point, I don't do it consciously either, because but I do think.
How do you know that the idea doesn't belong to just you?
Exactly.
It's
Exactly.
spiritual.
Exactly. But I was just more curious, because I'm like, wait, and your partners I don't know about, guys. Just in case. Okay.
I sat down with the idea, and I think it's something that I kind of knew that I was going to do something bigger than Iconola. And Iconola in my head is still a really big idea that I haven't even gotten to where I want to get to with it. And, from praying, talking to a few people that prayed with me, there was always, you're going to do something else, you're going to do something bigger. So I'd often ask God, like, what is this one thing that I'm about to do? And it has to be something that I enjoy doing. Not because I'm not about to start becoming a banker. Because I'm about to be a bigger Jensen. I'm not going to go to school because I want to become a professor or something. So, like I said, it was entering Marshall, and I've entered Marshall like 101 times, even if it's just while I was in college. And I just kind of stood and just looked around, and I just thought, okay, this is it. Open space. No, this belongs to Clinic. No, this belongs to Gucci. Everything is there together. So you go to James, you see James and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, this is something that can work. What are the services that can come with this? All the things that people have asked you to do that you're actually good at. Yeah. So this is my show. Love picture.
Yeah. Your personal pictures. So
I used to say, I do photo shoot for a living. Like I literally plan a photo shoot. Go and shoot. So I like, conceptualizing things, planning this is how makeup will be, this is how this and this is how this look will be.
What's like your makeup?
For photo shoots.
Yeah,
for photo shoots. Okay, my eyes are going to be this color. If I tie my scarf, this hair goes with this look. So I like that, and I was like, look, you're doing all these big things for yourself rather than give it to different brands. So I put that down. I put certain things down. I remember just taking a piece of paper down and then kind of drawing a rectangle because I obviously started doing construction, so I knew what the building was going to look like. I started sketching, started doing this, started doing that. Got back to Nigeria. I think one of my first meetings the next day was my architect. I was like, this is my plan. we're going to find land, we're going to do certain things, that this is the drawing of the building, this is shaking it, and the guy is looking at me. I don't have money by the way to pay the guy, and he's looking at me like, oh yeah, I've started it. This is what we're going to do. And I was saying how this is this. I pulled out some pictures and gave him ideas. And for like maybe a week, I just kind of nudged him, how's it going, how's it going? And then one day I walked into someone's building, and the guy was talking and everything about how he wanted to visit. And I just was like, oh, this is nice. So I called my architect and I was like, please come and see this land and everything. And he said, let me just show you. What you drew and what I been putting down fits on this land.
No way.
Exactly the way it was. I was so excited. By the way, we did not use the land. Oh, no. So we didn't end up using it. In fact, once I started running my plan by the guy, he quickly changed his mind.
But it was well.
He was because he also thought he could do it. Anyway, I ended up finding somewhere else. But Lagos is very tricky. I was just telling someone today that that's how after doing drawing and substance, everything, the woman's land was not around.
Oh no.
That is nicely.
Are you serious?
I'm telling you. So we then just decided that look, instead of trying to build something, let's quickly remodel and see how we can use an existing building and kind of like just get what I would now say like a proof of concept. Right. So what the concept really is, it's a concession store. We stock other brands and we want it to be like a one-stop shop. In a lot of my pitch meetings, I would say things like Ebano for fashion.
I like it.
So you come in and you're able to buy anything that you want to. Now, what that also does, which is new, well, I don't go down easy roads. When Iconola started, it was new. Like I said, a lot of people resisted ready to wear, you know. So even now, I feel like even the brands resist because they can't imagine. So I'll just be hanging everywhere with everybody. I'm like, yep. Because the focus needs to stop being on the brand and be on the actual fashion item. So you're supposed to buy something because you like it, not because there's a name attached to it.
You know?
And that was one of the things that I wanted to do. In fact, initially, I didn't want Iconola to be stocked in the building because I didn't want them to think that I was using BLK as a cover to sell. Right. I wanted it to stand on its own. Let's feature all these new brands, especially really talented people. People that when you see what they are doing, you're like, let's go have talent again. Let me just bow out for you guys. Because there's a lot of talented people in Nigeria, and there are a lot of people, like you said, who have certain frustrations and have decided to buy a machine, and they become good at what they're doing. So it's that opening up the market, you know, and hopefully we'll get to the point one day that they won't be able to call a fashion show without us being there, because we are the ones going to sign up to these brands. Because how else do you walk into a space and actually just pick something you like? What we have right now in Nigeria is my friend's brand, my sister's friend's brand. My friend told me about this brand. Jensen, it's never really. Oh, I saw this thing and I just like it, and that's what being able to walk into a Macy's, or Selfridges, or Harrods. That's what it does for you. Sometimes you just see really unique stuff, and it gives the avenue for a lot of new designers to spring up. In fact, if you look at some of the designers that are selling now, I'm talking about the worldwide ones. They're not names that we knew as high fashion when we were growing up. Please, what is who designs what? Who? Exactly.
I did want to ask about your boys because your last boy is a model, which as a typical Nigerian parent is sometimes unheard of. But I say this, I don't think there's anything typical about you. It's so funny when you speak Yoruba to me because your voice is so gentle. I'm not expecting you to speak Yoruba, and then all of a sudden you're like, can I say to Yoruba? Like, I can't even think about it in English.
I love Yoruba. There's some things that you can feel in your soul.
Can you feel so Igbo? Have you seen that show, Maso Igbo?
No, I can't.
You can't?
You can't. The thing is, I speak Yoruba that people think that I really, really understand, but it's more money.
Again, it's the one she knows that she knows.
I'm not that deep. So I must say something. I was not raised typical as well.
Shout out to the parents.
Yeah, so my parents were very liberal, I feel, even though my mom was quite strict. But they'll listen to you and your interests. They won't enforce anything on you. So
Great.
even when I was in school, I studied petroleum engineering, and I then woke up one day and I was like, "Oh, my textbook is full of this. I can't study fashion." you know.
Yeah.
So for me, I think that I grew up fashion oriented, so I also know the business. I think that Nigerian parents are adverse to you doing stuff because they don't understand the business. So even when I told my parents I wanted to do fashion, my mom was like, "Oh, for the tailor." Like it's not, like I said, it's not tailor because we don't know what the business is. We thought because all shade,
Yeah.
tailoring, you know, it's a business, you know. So I understand it. The boy is very good looking too.
See, three tall,
Yeah.
fine looking. As in, I wish I was 20. Fine, young man, honestly.
Still, to me, it just works for him. He has the body form for it as well. It's not just his face. He has, like, he's a bit lanky and kind of like fluid in his like body form. And so if you model, you understand like the way he poses and stuff like that. So I think it's kind of like a no-brainer for him. Like, even like when I said it to him before he bought into it. So I was like, I didn't really need money. And I mean, at that point he was extremely fat, chubby, fat. So he would be like, "Oh, really?" And sometimes I would ask myself why I'm saying it to him. Was I saying so he would lose weight? But no, I actually really just believe that it's something he could do. And even like his brothers and all that, I'm always pushing them to do stuff.
That makes really, like, it makes a lot of sense. And it reminds me of all of these, like, NFL. Like, you see a lot of, like, NBA or NFL parents that are beginning to, like, they themselves are becoming, what's it called, agents or things like that, right? Wives, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Well, you know, you have to protect them, you know. I mean, I think maybe if your boy was a girl, do you think? Yeah?
But I'm happy I don't have a girl.
So, actually, let me hold you some more because I don't want boys.
I always say like I wanted girls. Actually, I wanted a boy and twin girls. By the time I got pregnant with my second boy, I cried and I just thought, okay, I'm burying the whole I need a girl thing. And I actually didn't think that I was gonna have a third son.
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be those two. But you know, when I look at the life, I'm like,
you don't use children to get money in the bank. Oh my god.
so, I mean, they're their own person. It's
that's
not adding anything to my account. I don't mean it for it to sound so.
But it actually makes sense.
Yeah,
That's a time and happy.
I'm not gonna be popping out kids just so I have a girl for what? It's not as if I have a girl, I will have $1 billion. I mean, if that's the case, call me. I'll have a girl for $1 billion. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's just supporting the kids. I've always felt like my kids have their own lives, and you know, as a parent, you're just there to help to navigate them to their own. I feel like I have a lot of my own life to live and things to achieve for myself that I don't have to hang anything on my kids. Yeah. So as I wanted to pursue their life, so I can.
No, I really like that. Yeah. I really like that because you know, I've seen a couple like football players, Nigerian football players, talk about how their parents you know, their family is taking advantage of them and wants them to do. And I personally think that parents should not think that their children are their retirement packages. Right?
No, I look at it this way: a child is a child, a parent is a parent, and in no way should a child ever be responsible for a parent's well-being, happiness, or welfare. It should always be the other way around. Yeah. So one of the things that I feel like I invest in myself is some level of self-care and taking care of myself. That I want to be strong even in my old age. Because I don't want my kids feeling like I become a burden to them. Yeah.
But I mean, again, that's it. It's just like if you're going to get older and get more people.
I don't want to be a burden onto them, which is why I said I'm taking care of myself. I want to remain strong.
Yeah.
so that I continue to be active. I continue to be, I do already, mentally stable. All of those things. You pray that your body doesn't betray you or deteriorate and all that. But I also feel like if you live as authentically as you want to, and it's time for your kids to return the love or the investment, it should come with joyful hearts, not feel like a burden.
Exactly, and that's exactly what I meant by at some point we do get people regardless, and then at that point you are hoping that the prayer is that they're doing this out of the goodness of their heart.
I wanted to hope and pray. It should just be. It should be. Because I feel like when you say the hope and pray, I feel like for some parents, and a lot of people have done parenting wrong.
Yeah.
You've treated your child badly. And I feel like love is a free thing. I've given it so freely that I don't think that they think twice before they give it back freely. Yeah.
That's fair enough. Okay, I have a question for you. Let me see. This is our new segment that we're starting with, guys.
Okay.
And it is I think I'm going to be switching it up. But this particular one, let me see. I feel like these are easy questions for you. Would you rather attend the Met Gala or judge a season of Project Runway?
Difficult. Oh my God, it's a big deal. But you pay to do that, right?
I think so.
Yeah,
but they invite some people. I think they.
No, you pay.
Every single person?
You get invited and they pay. Because it's charity or something like that, right?
Every single person? I feel like they have to give some fee invite.
It's what's her name now?
Yeah. I forget her name, but I know her name is.
You pay her.
Okay.
You want to pay her.
Okay.
I mean, you would be able to afford to pay her.
Exactly.
I don't like to pass it money for
You know?
social events. But I feel like while I would love to be glamorous and make that one-time not 5 minutes, maybe 15-minute statement and all that, I feel like being a judge of Project Runway is better for me, my legacy, my career, and everything. And it's more visibility as well.
Fair enough. That makes actual sense. Like if you think about it that practically, yeah. But then there's the net worth, and when there's the network, right?
So I could, on the fashion end of things, I like to be glamorous and all that, which is why you want to show up for Met Gala, right? I could do that in 12 episodes.
No. But meeting people, that's like net worth. Network.
You meet people on the.
You're meeting like celebrities.
So I don't believe. This is conversation. I don't believe that you really meet with people on social avenues like that. It's usually hi, oh nice to meet you, nice to meet you. There's no real connect.
That's fair.
That's why I don't believe that parties in Nigeria for networking. People take me to their office. Just let me sit down and talk. So
Parties are the worst.
So I don't think party setting is the most. I think it's like I said, for visibility. They see you.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's good when you have the network and you are able to then really use your network there.
Yeah.
If I knew an waiter, then I'd say hello.
You remember her name?
My brain was looking for her. Now that I remember, I have to drop it. Yeah. So, but if I also just show up and she doesn't know me,
then it's not.
Then it's just say hi, nice to meet you. It's not really.
Yeah.
It's just photo op.
That makes sense. Okay, so where can people find you? I know I think it's 9A for Sugar.
Just 9.
Oh, just 9. Okay, cool. See, I actually remember because I've been saying I'm going to stop.
But I was telling you, it's on the map. Put BLK on the map.
That's right, the BLK building. And then also, is it the Iconola or just Iconola? The Iconola.
Okay, so the Iconola is mine.
Yeah, the personal.
Iconola is just Iconola.
Okay, Iconola is the.
So Iconola is being stocked right now in the BLK building. So we actually don't have a separate building. So even we had a meeting today saying, are we ever going to remove it and build it? But it's not on each other.
Okay. All right.
Just stay there.
But on Instagram, that's where they can find you.
Yes, so Iconola HQ.
Okay.
And then the BLK building.
Okay. Now, I forgot to ask you this one thing, and I'm going to quickly insert it. you have this dream of having 28 different.
Oh, brands.
Yes.
23.
23. I didn't have that. Why 23? That's like such a weird number. I'm an odd, even number person. I don't like odd numbers.
Weirdly, all my favorite numbers are 7, 9, 13, 23.
So opposite.
Yeah, all odd numbers.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to explain this, but 2023, the number 23, actually the number 8, 23, 19, 14, those numbers came to me. So I watched for those days of the month. But however, when we were trying to say we're going to develop brands for the BLK building, it was most of my interest, and I think I was just kind of like writing the names down.
Yeah.
And once I passed 30, I was like, oh, the next number is 20.
Right. Okay, and this is your own personal brand, right? Or
Yes.
okay.
Well, I'm not going to put my name on face.
Oh yes, fair enough.
So I think the other reason why is because, like I said, there's always a bit more, too much chatter around something when people feel like there's a person attached to it.
Yeah.
I want you to see the skirt and like it.
Yeah.
I want you to see the top and like it. I don't want you to buy something because you feel like, oh, I made it.
Yeah.
You know, because I feel like you have more obligation to me than the item.
Yeah.
And you should have, if you like something, just buy it. And if you don't like it, just leave it alone.
Fair enough. And so when are we going to start seeing the other brands?
Well, some of them are there. So I would say that we are at 10.
Okay. Out of 23.
That's
amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And then remind me, what's the name of the one that did our
Okay, so there's some brands I would easily talk about.
Yeah.
Lots of Fear.
okay.
Lots of Fear was the name that we came up with even before Iconola. But CSC didn't let us register it.
Oh
I don't know, maybe because the word Lord was in it.
Yeah.
But it's actually spelled Lourde, not Lord. But what it means is God's wisdom.
no. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's the brand for the bridal
line.
Okay. All right. Any other brands you want to talk about now? We'll keep it. Okay.
So most people already know me with the LMD and know me with MR Iconola, which is the male line.
Okay.
Now, most people know the Lord Sophia, most people know Iconola. I feel like you just go and buy nice things. So we also stock other people's brands there, but I feel like with I'm big on manufacturing, right? So I want to be able to manufacture different brands, and we're actually going to develop BLK line as well. So, but BLK will be more lifestyle stuff coming this year.
Amen. The money will come. This sounds really great. Thank you so much. Thank you for being my first guest in my home studio.
My question.
Yes. Oh, wait. I would never forget that. But no, it really means a lot because actually, you saw my Instagram. Let's do it. I'm like, I was literally just telling my producer and saying that I wanted to do it, but I was like, maybe I should not. Like, maybe I should do this stuff. And you also came to the house, which is really, really cool. I really, truly appreciate it. Thank you so much. And yes, so now you get to ask me one question.
So the title of the podcast.
Yes, plenty.
Well, I was like, I know. I kept thinking, one thing most people don't really know about me is I answer questions really easily, more than I just talk. So I don't just talk.
Yeah.
But I don't know how to ask people questions. When I saw the podcast title, I thought, a world without people. What does that mean?
It means that there's not such world.
Okay. Okay.
And by doing this, we're discovering that, right?
Oh, okay. Because I was like, why that title? I mean, we are people, we're talking. I kind of feel like you might say something like that, but I just like interesting.
Yeah. Because I feel like when I was coming up with the names, honestly, I first of all did a whole bunch of things. I had all these ideas of things I wanted to do before, because like you, I have all these many things I want to do. And then I started also putting this in like, what's it called, algorithm thing, and it was just giving me different things. And I was like, well, when I was a blogger, my thing was Diary of an Unpaid Intern. But then you transition, right? At some point, I was no longer a paid intern, and my thing was like I didn't want a thing that was just like yes, exactly, it was going to be boxed in, and I knew that one thing I was passionate about, and I am passionate about, is mentoring. Like It's so funny. We've been gisting, but you've said so many things when it comes to parenting, when it comes to relationship, when it comes to branding that I hope people take out of it. But it should just be that. It should just be a conversation, and it doesn't have to be about what's happening in the world, what's happening.
Yeah.
And then it's discovering who you are and sharing those insights. So it doesn't matter who the person is. Everybody, like you said, has a story. And if we can see each other, like just really pay attention to people, understand people. Like, for example, all of the conversations we've had before, we've not had this conversation. So it also, that idea that it can just peel the layer, so for me,
I feel like every human being is a big giant onion.
Exactly, and in fact, what we have you wrote it on the on the website. It's like it's one chapter of your book, right?
Like,
this is just one, and it's not even maybe it's like half of the chapter.
I feel like there's even chapters that individually you've not discovered of yourself,
Exactly.
so you can express.
Exactly, and that's why I always tell people everything. No, let's say on the podcast you have something.
Yeah, I have a comment.
Yes.
You are, and I don't mean this to gas you up or anything. You're one of the happiest people I know. I just feel like, you see some people, their happiness will almost annoy you. I know, like, some people ask me, like, why are you just so happy? But for you, like, I see you're genuinely a happy person. I saw you throughout, like, all your fittings and all that. You're just a vibrant, happy
Okay. You know why I laughed? Because I was going to put it up on Instagram today that, is there something else to this thing? Because throughout this week, that has been kind of like the compliment. And I'm like, first of all, I hate to, I smile in pictures. So I'm always saying, I don't really smile. But then it was like, you're always happy. You're always smiling. I was just like, throughout this week. So I just think that is
It's a good thing because in my line of work, and I feel like with my friendships and with life experiences, you meet a lot of people who you can see that they're happy, even though they're saying a lot of living sad things. But I don't think anybody needs to ask you anything or talk to you. You can just see, oh my God, so happy.
One guy yesterday said, you can make a guy sell anything in this world. What? My head, I'm like, I'm married.
Yeah.
No, but thank you. And this is why we do the World Without People podcast, because we want to bring all the happiness in the world. So at least I'm glad that at least in this episode, hopefully you guys have seen joyful people, but you also learned a lot. Thank you, sis. I appreciate you. God bless you. And see you in the next episode.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining me in today's episode. Just like you would share with friends about a great book you read, don't forget to share this if you enjoyed it. Connect with us on IG and Twitter at TWWPcast and get details on the website at worldwithoutpeople.org. And hey, remember to make loving others the story of your life. Until next time, this is the World Without People.